All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, Victoria, I am just in awe at the fact that you were called to give us the grief piece, and what came up is the emotions. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but Pam and I are also in the world of real estate, and so we operate in that space. Oh, yes.
Of course you are. Yeah.
And you know the saying that they have, like, there's no room for us to have emotion in real estate because there's already enough, right, between the clients and those that are in the transaction. And I have to say, about 15 years ago when I got into real estate is probably the same time that I shut down all emotions, right? Because I was told by my mentors, there's no room for you to have emotion in the transaction, so just put that to the side. And so we compartmentalize really well. And so I compartmentalize really well, and I put all emotion to the side. So thank you for sharing, one, the information about the app, but also giving us a lesson today, because it definitely rings true. And I'm hoping that it rings true for some of our listeners as well, especially if they took the time to go through that reflection and the visualization piece. That was powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, no coincidences. Like, that's a law of synchronicity.
Yeah. It's exactly.
Yes.
It's a law of synchronicity. Yes.
Exactly.
And I love that we're talking about this today, because at the beginning, when you were talking about surrender, I will say that's been a hard thing for me, just because of the marriage I was in, and, single mom. And then I felt like I have to be in control of everything. Like, I cannot surrender, because if I surrender, who's going to take care of everybody else? And so this new journey that I'm on, this is just this year with the energy clearing and the spiritual healing. And it's hard as a female entrepreneur, single mom, to let go and just surrender to that feeling. It's scary, because, like, what will happen? And I've noticed myself, like, in that first energy clearing that we did, I was very closed off at first. I'm like, there's nothing's gonna happen. I was staying in my head, and I wasn't allowing myself to settle into my core. Once I've done that, it's been a huge shift.
Yeah, absolutely. It's two things. This Saturday, my clients have pushed forward, and I'm actually doing a Love Me seminar, which is on healing the wound of broken soulmate relationship. And one of the things that I will be offering to them that is so powerful is that there are two energies through which we operate. There is a energy of inspiration, which is being in spirit. When you are inspired, you're in spirit, you're in the flow. And that is the energy that creates. And the opposite of that, beautiful English language, frames as desperation, which means without spirit. Spirit, without spirit. So the desperation is the absence of spirit. And we fluctuate from one to the other. And so here's a beautiful, hopeful thing for anyone, is that it is always the dominant vibration that prevails, that heals, and that creates, which means you don't have to be 100% inspired 100% of the time. You just got to push it over to 51%. It's just very comforting to say, I've gone through horrific time, and there is desperation over all of it. Maybe so much of it that I need to suppress because I'm not ready to deal and release. But then to understand that you can operate with just 51% of having a hope, of having an inspiration, and it is more than enough to reclaim the space of healing, reclaim the creation. We have this amazing group. It's called Quantum Freedom Group. The way it happened in 2019, in December of 2019, I was teaching a lot of manifestation seminars. Once again, because there was a lot of misunderstanding of how to use energy laws to create. I have beautiful space in Burke, Virginia, and we're starting, to sell out with those seminars. And I have a feeling in 2019, take it all online. I'm like, that's wild. I mean, So January 2020, I launched Quantum Freedom. And by March, the world shuts down.
Yeah.
And we are now taking people from all over the world through this subscription out of desperation. And as the businesses collapse, the members die, they're starting to thrive. They're starting to thrive, and they're becoming the beacons to where they are. Because that was the birth of Quantum Freedom. So that subscription is its 5th year. And I have to, it's been the most miraculous journey. And now we have these parts in the programs. There is a program on money, there is program on energy, there is program on health, like all these incredible offers that came as a result of that. But going back to you, Pam, that is an example of surrender, like professionally, where it was like, whatever. And the only reason it happened because I had a record, actually in hundreds of thousands of dollars record of not surrendering to the promptings, when it was like, it all looks so good on paper. The little voice is like, don't do it. I'm like, just quiet. I mean, don't you see the numbers? And so when I talk of surrender, it's so much easier to surrender when you haven't and you had to pick up the pieces financially and otherwise, the lack of surrender. And yeah.
Wow.
That's such a significant piece. And it's, we talk about like stepping out on faith and what that looks like. I mean, in 2019, I think in 2019, like the popular online platform was Skype. And so we weren't even Zooming during that time. And so you got the nudge, you got the download, and you said, okay, let's do that.
Okay. Well, you sound very positive. I was like, what? That is crazy. Crazy. That was the reaction. Here's an important thing. You don't have to surrender with joy always. You can surrender with reluctance, and then it becomes joy when it makes sense.
Yes. Surrender with reluctance. I like that.
I feel like that's a book. It's just surrender because surrender can be combined with a variety of things.
I mean, I remember, that's growing up, bringing up the kids. That's where I'm sure that my kids taught me everything I know. That's my line. We don't have them to teach them. We have to learn from them, and I'm still learning from. But I remember telling my kids, you don't have to be happy when you obey. Your emotions is your free choice. But this home runs by certain basic rules, and because you're part of this home, you have to obey, but you don't have to be happy.
Right.
And it was just such a point of freedom. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, I took my own pill because I was not happy. I am happy now.
Exactly. Yes. It's so true. Our children teach us the greatest things. It's so true. Oh my goodness. Well, Victoria, I would love to have just a little bit of behind the scenes insight from you, just in terms of your own growth on this journey, because you have really worked to create tools and modalities that are just making a difference around the world and on various planets. And I'd like to hear about this. So we'll say the moon as well. So I'd love to hear about this piece. But what has your own personal journey been like, over the last 17, 18 years now?
Mia, that is such a great question. I think it's been a journey of humility and of owning my weaknesses as my strengths, of not hiding my weaknesses from either clients or children or audiences, owning them completely. And by the same token, owning the talents and the strengths without false diminishing of who I am. It's a
Mhm.
very difficult balance for me. I found that through these years, when I would be so quote unquote much more talented in something, it would make me uncomfortable
Mhm.
and I would dumb it down on one side,
Oh.
and so it's just been a very interesting journey of self-awareness and of owning all parts of me with equal love,
Mm.
where I can tell you I love my weakness every bit as much as I love my strength. I
Mm.
choose to not focus on the weakness and the strength keep pulling them up, but I'm very aware of what they are.
Mm.
And when I become aware when they make somebody um, uncomfortable, I
Mm.
own it. I don't say I'm sorry. I think I'm sorry is a poison because it takes away from you. I say forgive me. This is a
Mm.
huge power because have you guys had it when the two people are fighting and one says I'm sorry and the other one's like you're sorry? Really? You're sorry? Because I'm sorry does not discharge the situation. It
Yeah.
actually diminishes you. There's nothing sorry about you. And
Yeah.
it does not own their so for me the most powerful phrase of 17 years has been forgive me.
Mm.
This should not have happened. Let me try this again. I've probably said that more times than I care to admit. I say it in my leadership meetings. And what happens is that people model that. It shocked me to see that modeled back to me
Mm.
with the same level of authenticity.
Mm.
And so I'll give you a gorgeous insight for our leadership team. There are five of us. I'm a founder of You to Shine, and I now have CEO, CFO, CMO, and COO. Okay, all the C-suite. They're all closest clients, friends over the last, decade. And what we do is all the decisions for the company that affect all of company must be unanimous. We don't have majority vote. We just don't because we're very clear that there has to be an aligned decision. If there is a best and highest decision, we've got to find it and we will seek it. And
Mm.
so every Monday we call we come up with fun names. Our Monday meeting is called Shoshin, which is actually a Buddhist word for pure mind. So we come without an agenda. We
Mm.
have no agenda for Monday meeting. We come in with pure mind to receive what we are to receive to move the company forward that week. And then because two of our leaders are from Finland, on every Thursday we have Kisa, and Kisa stands for a cat in Finnish. And what it means, there is a phrase, cat on the table. It's like an elephant under the carpet. So we come in and we say, let's put the cat on the table. What is it in complete transparency? What is it that's just getting you a little annoyed with anything in the company? And so we will look, we put it all on the table, and then we will study it and move it forward. And then every Saturday, we have wa. And wa is a Japanese word for harmony and unity. And that's our team meeting. So the Monday, Thursday is leadership, and every Saturday is the full coach and leadership team meeting. And so and one of the parts that we're doing, and for some reason it comes through right now, we have you to shine is a very powerful word. And you to shine, every word also means something. Like Y is you, unique you. U is unique. Two has a ton of meaning. S, simplicity. H, humility. I, innovation. And network, and E, expansion. Every word, every letter has a very deep meaning. And so what we do every Saturday, one of the leaders and one of the coaches takes one letter through their individual lane. We have every coach and every leader running a spiritual department, and they interpret it and they share it and they own it. So we are continually growing. I am growing as a person. I'm learning from everybody on the team, learning from my clients. And yeah, and it goes back to just being very vulnerable and open about the fact that I have no idea of how to run this company. I've never been a founder with a leadership team.
Yeah.
I, I, I've never done what I'm doing. So how can I do it right? I'm going to do it wrong. And the second I do it right, we're going to grow to the next level of doing it wrong. And so that's the journey that I had to become very comfortable with, of saying, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Victoria, did you have mentors or teachers along the way that kind of helped you through this, or did you just self-teach yourself?
There is no self thing. There's,
Okay.
I believe that there's a self-destruction. We don't need anybody else for that. We are pros. I
Mhm.
have all the tools to self-destruct. Nobody else needs to contribute. I got it. I got it.
I was going to say conscious and unconsciously, like both. It's there.
I got it. I am a master. But self-significance and self-growth, it is an oxymoron. People might not be aware of who's poured into them in what way, but we all are pouring into each other. And my joy is that I'm very aware, very grateful, and always talk of all of my mentors. And I've been seeking mentors my whole life. Like this movie that we've talked about, Joe Vitale was an incredible mentor. Joe Vitale, actually, from Secret, if somebody doesn't know, Joe Vitale is incredible. He actually had a TV show and a podcast, and he read my book, Prosper Me. Because it's really even funny. We'll start before then. Jack Canfield was one of my mentors that I never knew, who I got an incredible opportunity to be interviewed by for my book. So Jack Canfield interviewed me about my Prosper Me book. Joe Vitale then saw an interview with Jack Canfield. And so from mentor to mentor, and he invited me on his show. We became very good friends. And I immediately signed up for his mastermind. I already was mentored prior to that, one-on-one with Bob Proctor. I've been in mastermind and mentored by John Assaraf, an incredible founder of Theta Healing, Diana Steibel. If there is somebody that I can learn from, I will seek them and I will learn from them, and we usually will end up being good friends. I have an incredible mentor and partner right now, Greg Reed. So the Lunar Legacy that you've mentioned was Greg's initiative of creating a book for the people that are leaving legacy behind them without focusing on doing it. It just kind of happens. And then creating it into chapter. And the book was ingrained into a little triangle, into a little golden pyramid that was sent to the moon with the legacy of humanity. And so it has these people that are contributors to humanities and their legacy. It came out as a book. It's called Lunar Legacy as a book, but that little particle has flown in. So what happened with Greg Reed? I have to say that I'm grateful to every single mentor, and I also have coaches. I am a coach, so I have coaches, I have mentors always. But special gratitude for Greg Reed right now, because he helped me see what it is that I was doing from a third party. Very often we're so in the middle of it, we don't know what we're doing. And I got to be a part of his personal development project, which is an incredible book. We interviewed every single giant of personal development, very much like Napoleon Hill. Greg's done a lot of Napoleon Hill work. He's written 150 books. He's been in a ton of movies. And so we interviewed these people. And then Greg was so fascinated by my understanding of quantum personal development. He said, I'm putting you in the book. I'm putting you in the book as quantum personal development person. So he launched me, and I didn't realize he launched me.
Wow.
I was still unaware that this mentor of mine launched me that way. Until I was speaking on his Secret Knock stage, and I'm about to go on stage. And he looks at me and he goes, do you know what you're going to talk about? And I said, yeah. And he goes, no, talk about what you do. Talk about quantum personal development. And I'm like, that's what I do? He goes, yeah. So I'm stepping on stage and I'm reframing my speech.
Yeah.
And I frame it as, this is what we do. We're pioneer of quantum personal development, and I own it on the stage. And all of a sudden, Forbes picks it up and Entrepreneur picks it up. And I'm standing there going, I did it. I didn't know I was doing it. And so this is why mentors are so important. We are so much in the frame, in the picture. we don't see the whole frame. The mentor is somebody who looks at that and says, huh, this is Van Gogh, this is Monet. And
Yeah.
you're like, I'm a cloud, I'm a cloud, I'm a cloud. So, so
Yes.
that's the power of the mentor. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
That and another gift that I think somebody so needs to hear right now, because I needed to hear that. One of the most powerful mentoring advices, two that were given to me. One was Bob Proctor, who said, go where you're wanted, not just where you need it. We have such desire to help and save and rescue. And I'm somebody who's like, come on, dead fish, you can swim, you can swim. The fish is like, I'm done.
It's dead fish.
Walk
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Walk away. And so a ton of energy would go on so that was an advice that I haven't mastered, but I'm aware and I'm working on for the last decade. And the second one, I still in the process of me mastering it as a part of the journey, was from Greg Reed, where he said, listen, when you're going up Mount Everest and you're insisting that everybody comes with you, those that don't know how to breathe with little oxygen will die.
Yeah.
Let people be where they are. So
Mm.
they're very similar advice, one about going, another one about bringing people with you. And so this is kind of where I am in my journey today, very vulnerable, of learning that allowing and accepting free agency. So that's, yeah, very long-winded, complete answer to your very powerful question. It's
I
me.
love it.
You're responsible.
I love it. I think that was a great response. I mean, it definitely shines a light on the amount of people that have impacted you. You have had a great opportunity to connect with each of them as well, though. That I feel like that's more powerful. I mean, that's so, what tremendous opportunities you've had. That's great. And that you continue to have.
What I found is that there is a barrier we as humans create that doesn't exist. And people of the greatest significance are most available because everybody thinks they're out of reach. I just didn't have that subconscious belief. I just said, I want to be taught by this person.
Yeah.
And how do I reach them? And how do I go? So when I came to Canada, to Bob Proctor's Matrix, it was an incredible event. I've learned a ton. And I came to Bob, I said, what do you charge for one-on-one coaching? He says, I haven't done that. I don't do that anymore. And I said, well, but if you were, what would you charge? He goes, 50 grand. Let's just review how I didn't have 50 grand at that time. let's just point out some very obvious things. So I literally called my husband and I said, sweetheart, you know how I told you I want to get out of debt and we should never take HELOC out? Well, that has just changed. Like, I would like to take a HELOC out to sponsor my coaching with Bob Proctor. That's what I did. Now, we didn't go through the whole thing for two reasons. A, I think my husband would have left me. I'm happy he stayed. But B, more importantly, Bob said at some point, he said, I've given you all I can give. There's no reason for me to keep taking your money. And I just will forever own that. It was just a very powerful, powerful concept. And so I will always honor him for that. And he's given me the capacity to be able to see when that would be the case for any one of our coaches or any one of our programs, or I'll be able to say, you're now ready for this, or you're now, so yeah, that was a powerful moment. Yeah.
That's
but HELOC, I took HELOC.
Yes.
I don't recommend it to my clients, by the way.
Yes. But you saw what you wanted or what you thought you needed, what you thought that you needed. And I think that speaks to us wherever we are in our journey, is that oftentimes it's, well, if I just learn this one more thing, or if I get this certification, or if I were to meet this person, then I could fill in the blank without, whatever it is that we're resisting doing. As you shared and as Bob shared with you, sometimes it's there. We have everything that we need inside. It's a matter of taking the action and doing the thing. and I think that even the gesture that you make, it's a message to the universe, right? It's a, you know what? I'll even take out a HELOC to make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then things just start to align.
I
Yeah.
think we heal. I think to your point is we heal our own self-worth
Yeah.
through the many accolades. And I think it's very important to remind ourselves that we're deserving of that we're deserving of having any mentor we desire
Mm.
anytime. And I think that is, in a nutshell, restoring that. It's less the lack of knowing and more the disconnect of internal self-worth.
Yes.
And I think there's so many ways to restore that. And this is probably one of those ways.
Yeah.
That, and also, I think that a third party perspective, a mentor perspective, is something that cannot be substituted,
Mhm.
right? Because they've been there. Like, I'll give you another amazing example. I love ChatGPT. You know, throughout the years, I've mastered questions because I've done so much coaching. Now,
Mhm.
mastering questions comes so handy creating prompts with ChatGPT.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, baby. So, when I was doing one-on-one mentoring with Joe Vitale, I went to ChatGPT and I said, what would be the top 15 questions you would ask a mentor in your field? That's simple, isn't that cool? So it gives me a 15 questions to ask a mentor. And one of those questions was asking, what is the one thing you wish you had done when your business was at the level that my business is right now? What would you have done differently?
Mm.
And so I asked Joe that, and he said, I made myself too accessible. I didn't have a middleman. I didn't have a team. Said I would have done so much more had I had a team.
Mhm.
So later that day, I'm having a conversation with one of my very close friends who's actually a client. And she says, I have a feeling that I'm supposed to do much more for the team than just being a coach. I said, very good. Do you want to be my CEO? Really,
Perfect.
that really
Synchronicities again. More
synchronicity.
synchronicities.
She
Yes.
said yes. She says yes. So we go to an event together within a week. Actually, that decision, it's like all bang, bang, bang. We go to an event. And remember, this is the girl who rescues fish. So if I have money, I will give it to your project so you can take advantage of me because I'm a nice person, right, to the whole
Mhm.
ego thing. I mean, I'm completely
Yes, you
transparent.
need that. Yes.
Mhm.
It's very important. I'm like, what? What?
Yes.
I can work 10 times as hard and make it so I can pay you the money for you not to do your job. I'm really good at that. I mean, it's not a problem. So I'm on fire. I'm on fire in my niceties. And I'm just like at
Yes.
that event. And this person comes to me with yet another great opportunity. Because when you start being recognizable and recognized, everybody has an opportunity for you now.
Yes.
Mm.
And I opened my mouth to be asking for the tears. And all of a sudden, I hear myself say, why don't you talk to my CEO about that? And I walk away. And my
Beautiful.
brand new CEO, Marla Ballard, takes a stand. She is this incredibly huge energy in a 5'2", 5'3" body,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I walk away from conversation.
Beautiful.
And it was so phenomenal
Mhm.
to use that. And I
Yes.
immediately texted Joe and I said, hey, amazing, amazing. And so you can know spiritually, but
Mhm.
there are experiential things that your mentors have gone through that can save you
Yes.
money, time, and energy.
Mhm.
And that was the gold that I received from him through that mentoring call.
Yeah. Oh
Perfect.
my gosh. The power of mentorship. It's
Mhm.
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It is.
And Victoria, you have created quite a few tools for our listeners to check out. And I also want to thank you for sharing some knowledge and insight with us already today. If you were to leave our listeners with one piece of advice, or a tip that we haven't touched on already, what would that be today?
Hmm. I think the one that often comes through and is coming through today is that, and I get emotional with it, is that if this infinite universe, if the divine intelligence, God, if you will, had a better way to fill the space and time that you call you, it would have been done so. and yet it hasn't. So you as you are is the best version of the time and space that is needed by all. You as you are right now are fully accepted by the divine through all your weaknesses and all your strength. And so prior to you wanting to grow, to change, to shift, just accept this profound knowing that you as you are already accepted and already enough.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
I think that's a great way for us to end. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Thank you.
Victoria, thank you. It has been an absolute honor. All of the synchronicities that have popped up throughout our time together today, I'm blown away by. I can't help it. I understand what is happening, but it still catches me off guard when it does happen.
Every
But
time.
I am grateful for this time that we've had together. I am grateful for the work that you and your team are doing and continue to do. So thank you for listening to the call, answering the call, and continuing to move forward after all of these years. And thank you for taking the time out to join us today.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And for our listeners, we will make sure that we put all of Victoria's contact information, websites, the app site, so that you can head on over and check out both of those apps if you're interested, and the programs and offerings that they have. And I think coaching is still an option. Your coaches are accepting new clients. We'll make sure that we tag that information in our show notes, so check those out. And if you are interested in learning more about what's happening in the world of Reignite Resilience, head on over to reigniteresilience.com. Until next time, we will see you all soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.